This is a segment that is all for my fellow starseeds, light workers, sensitives, healers, empaths. Get into my happy place and channel one of the archangels. We are going to pull a feather from the feather jar and let's see what the energies want us to know. We are talking about the psychic realm. Color is yet another tool that can help us. This is really all about going beyond the predictiveness of readings. Shalom all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to another segment. This is Feathers of Wisdom, and I'm really excited to be doing this. For a number of years now, I have been putting out on my YouTube channel a thing called Phoenix Feather Friday, and we just decided to incorporate it into this show, and so we're calling it Feathers of Wisdom, and I have this fantabulous feather jar that I created. Oh my God, this jar is probably 10 years old now. When I was beginning my journey, my sort of spiritual awakening, officially stepping into my psychic energy, I went through this crazy, wicked creative phase. And like I had to create everything and anything. And so I created this jar and I didn't know what was going to go in the jar. And then all of a sudden I got this download to put a bunch of feathers in it. And then I painted words on feathers. And so all of these feathers have been going along with me. And some of them are, Phoenix burning. Maybe they need to be retired a little bit and I need to put some new words in there. But this is our feather jar. And I've asked our fabulous Keone, my wonderful producer and counterpart, to join me for this segment. And to shift things up a little bit, I've asked him to prepare a couple of questions that I have no idea about, so that when I'm pulling the feather, we can get an interesting message from our inner Phoenix, our angels and guides, maybe around transformation, how we're transforming, how we can best make the energies around us work for us. So hello, Keone, how are you?
I am better than Elvis.
Oh, that is so good to hear, because I don't think Elvis is doing real well right now.
Oh, jeez.
So are you set? Are you all set and up for this little game that
I am. I actually had some journey questions. It's funny because you just started a new journey.
Yeah.
But I had some journey questions, but of course I want to throw in a relationship question. So I got one relationship question and two starting a new journey questions.
Let's do it.
I want to get the relationship one out of the way and then get to the two, because it's about cycles with a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of friends in the last 2 weeks that keep, they're talking to me about their relationship and it's like, wait, we're going through this cycle again with the same type of person. So what energy am I currently attracting in my love life, and how can I shift it to align it with my the relationship I truly desire?
Oh, I love that. And yeah, people are always caught in patterns and cycles. In case you don't know this, relationship is one of the quickest ways to ascension, to healing and growth. Because when you're involved in relationship, whether that's romantic partnership, which I know is what we're speaking to right now, but also relationship and engagement with others, it's all about the mirror and what is reflecting back to us. So we are constantly in opportunities to shift and tweak our choices. So I think that's really interesting. Okay, so the feather that we got here was meditate. And what I'm feeling here with your question, when you're asking about, actually repeat your question, what's the best way to
what energy am I currently attracting in my love life, and how can I shift it to align with the relationship I desire?
So psychically, the energy that I feel the majority of you are sort of working with or attracting right now is it's a pattern of dysfunction, and you don't realize that it's dysfunctional because you're not aware of what is transpiring under the surface. You're not aware of I like to say, sort of the old recordings that are in your head. Here's a really great example, an exercise for you to try. When you've got a voice going on in your head and you catch yourself like, oh, I'm listening to this voice, or, oh, yeah, there's a voice that's talking to me. Just tune in for a second and make sure, well, basically ask what voice it is, because you will be amazed. And I'm not talking about mental illness here. I'm talking about the psychic realm. So many of us have other people's voices in our heads, but they've been there for so long that we think it's our own. I'll give you a perfect example. I always have my mother's voice in my head. And for so many years, I did not understand that that wasn't my voice, and that wasn't necessarily something that I needed to follow. That was the voice in my head. Her fear was always in my head. You can't do this and you can't do that, and if you do this and you do that, there's going to be, hellfire and brimstone, or there's going to be something horrible to happen. So I feel like, to answer your question, the guidance to be able to help yourselves with that is like, listen to the voice. Is it your voice? Is it someone else's voice? And then you want to ask, is it relevant to this relationship situation? Am I maybe projecting another voice or another's opinion or concept of relationship onto my own relationship? Am I seeking out a voice that reinforces, or a person that reinforces the voices in my head? It's about becoming more aware of what actually is running the show behind the scenes of your choices. And meditation is going to help to bring that to the surface so that you can really begin to understand. Yes, you can begin to understand the voices, but you can also start to understand what those voices are there to do, and are they really relevant to me? Are they helping me or hindering me? Are they keeping me stuck, keeping me in a dysfunctional cycle? Are they continuing to draw to me the types of people that constantly trigger me in a particular way or activate me in a particular way, so that I can look at that wound that is within me and I can heal it once and for all through meditation and the awareness that comes from that meditation and the intention that I set around that awareness? That's going to be the big key. I also love that this feather is pink. So pink is the heart chakra. It's the unconditional love, which is what we need when we're entering into relationships with other people. And often that's what we're seeking. We're seeking to be loved unconditionally, but very rarely do people actually understand what it means to be unconditionally loved, and therefore to unconditionally love another. So meditation is what's going to help you with that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there we go. There's our first feather, Keone.
It does make sense. It's very informative. So it's like I have to take it all in, um, and kind of just understand. And sometimes, I always say people don't always hear what they want to hear.
Oh, sure.
So I always have to be careful of that. I've got to make sure that I'm hearing what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's huge. And I'm going to say to you as well, when you are in a situation where you are perhaps counseling or someone is asking for your
Mhm.
guidance, you want to really be in a space of observance with it, or being unattached to the outcome, because a lot of times people aren't prepared to hear the truth. They're hoping that you're going to be able to give them something that is a quick fix, or to say it's the other person's fault and the other person needs to change. And so if you can get the other person to change, then you're good to go.
Oh,
But
that's good.
relationship is an inside job.
Yeah, that is true. All right. Let's get into journey questions. I'm starting a new journey this year. A lot of people started their new journeys in January. They do it in New Year's, but throughout the year, people are always starting new journeys.
Yeah.
So I have two questions involving journeys. The first one is, what path aligns best with my true purpose? And how can I recognize it? So if I have a purpose in my journey, there are several things that come up, as you know. How do I recognize what's best for my journey to align with my sensibilities when I want to go on this journey? I hope I didn't butcher that.
No, you didn't butcher it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually speak to it, and then I'll pull a feather for sort of the direction around it.
Okay.
So, whenever you are starting a new journey, it's in essence, it's the Fool's card in the tarot, and it is a sort of a phoenix rising energy where you are birthing yourself in a new way. You're getting to know yourself. So, experimentation and exploration is the key. Beginner's mind or student's mind is the key. Going into it, giving yourself permission to not know all the things and the stuff, to give yourself permission to throw a little spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And I want to say it's crucial or critical when you're starting a new journey to be really connected to your intuition, listening to yourself. And the best way to foster that connection, to keep that channel or that conduit open, is through meditation and through energy cleansing, paying attention to the people, places, and things that you're spending time with. When you spend time with particular people, do you feel exhausted afterwards and you need a nap? Or do you feel energized after the interaction? Especially when you're starting a new journey like that, you really want to be supporting yourself and setting yourself up for success. And a lot of that is, okay, I'm not going to know exactly everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm not necessarily going to know that this is the right person for me or that's the right choice for me unless I'm silent and I listen to myself. I go within. I'm paying attention. So I feel like that's really important. And then let's just pull a feather to give you, I want to say, some Phoenix guidance or Phoenix energy around maybe an action step that you can take around that, something that's going to support you. Let's see what we've got. Heart. Lead with your heart. Listen to your heart. Follow your heart. So often when we are beginning a new journey, we get caught up in our heads around I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't have all the right steps. I don't have all of my ducks in a row. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle what comes my way. I don't know my capacity or my capability. And all of that is head driven. And where does ego reside? Ego is all about the blah, 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 right? So the heart is saying, let the heart lead. Be in the space of the heart first. Ask the heart the questions. Allow the heart to tell you sort of where to go or the beginning stages. And then you can bring your mind, your clear mind, into that space. I always talk about the heart being the captain and the mind being the first officer that is supposed to enact the captain's wishes. And yeah, sometimes the first officer is in the driver's seat or is the steering the ship. But ultimately, that's not its job on a regular basis, on a permanent basis. So I feel like for you with this new journey, it's really connecting to your heart space and allowing that heart space to lead the way, to be the speaker of your intuition. I hope that makes some sense.
It always makes sense. You know what? I'm not saying this just because, I'm on here with you, but you rarely never make sense.
I never make sense, ever?
I said that wrong.
You sure did.
You always make sense. I think when
That's
we're dealing
okay
with
if I
this,
never make sense. That's important feedback to
no,
know too.
No, that's when we're on the phone talking about personal things. You don't make sense. When we're talking about this stuff, you always make sense.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, good, good. I'm glad because believe me, some of it is me, but a lot of it is the just the guidance that comes through because I'm on this journey with y'all. I mean, I don't have all the answers either. So, I think in many ways we're all on a fool's journey on that, in that overarching way where we all need to just approach life in general with that student mind,
Been on a
that beginner's
foolish journey since birth.
mind.
Um, so I was trying to think of something, and it's funny because I was looking at it, something that says, uh, this may help you develop confidence in your instincts and recognize divine guidance in your choices.
Yeah.
And the question that comes up with that statement is, what signs or intuitive feelings should I trust when making important life decisions?
Sure. That's a huge one. And I don't need to pull a
And
feather
the
for
reason why I ask that is
that.
because, is a gut feeling the same as an intuitive feeling? Because we said we all have a measure of intuitiveness, right?
Yeah.
Is that our intuitiveness when we have those gut feelings or eerie feelings towards a decision?
It's a great question, and I'm going to speak on it in a couple of different ways because there are people out there who really respond to their gut instinct, which is an instinctive experience versus an intuitive experience. But if that is how they receive that kind of guidance and it works for them, there's nothing wrong with it. So I don't want to imply that a gut instinct isn't intuitive, but what I would offer is it's not 100% from an intuitive place. So it doesn't make it wrong, it just makes it a little bit different. We're all born with instincts. The instinct is there's a tiger chasing me, so I'm dropping everything and I'm running, right? And I parts of my body, literally systems in my body shut down in order to redirect all of the energy to me being able to run because it's about survival mode, right? Um, Intuition is the soft whisper, the gentle nudge, the inner knowing. I just know. I feel butterflies in my stomach when I get this idea, or ooh, I get a rock in my gut when I'm feeling into this idea. It's the intuition comes through our senses. Gut instinct absolutely can be a sense, but I feel like it's tied more to survival mode, fight or flight. Intuition is the random thought, the random inspiration that pops into your head when you're just quiet, when you're, in the waking and the sleeping state in between, when you're just about to go to bed and the mind is just kind of dumping or doing whatever it's doing. And all of a sudden you have this clarity or you have these realizations. That is intuition. The gut instinct feels a little more connected to survival mode. And again, not to say that people who live their lives from gut instinct are wrong. You're not. But understand that the way you're receiving that information comes from a different mechanism and it comes from survival mode. Intuition has nothing to do with survival mode. Intuition can come to you at any given time in any given direction, and it's subtle, which is why I talk a lot about the body being the psychic antenna, and especially women, but also men have been trained, have been taught to not pay attention, to dismiss the body in a lot of ways. I see with the younger generations that's different, that's changing. But many of us, who've lived a few years in this lifetime, we struggle to remain in the body because there's been so much chaos and drama and trauma and all the things and the stuff that it doesn't feel safe to be in the body. So safe equates with survival mode, right? So I don't know if I'm making any sense. And PS and FYI, I'm not an expert on this. I'm sure there are studies out there that can give more, I want to say, sort of credence to this than I can. But that's just kind of how I perceive it. That a gut instinct or a gut reaction can get you out of hot water. but is it something that you're using on a daily basis for your ideas, for what you're feeling and sensing and knowing, for what you're manifesting? I don't know. I think it plays a role, but it's not the big thing. It's not the main attraction.
Sweet. And I'm gonna consider everything you said because again, you already know I'm doing a big journey this year. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I support you in all of it. And I support you in all of it. And know that all of us are on various journeys and different stages and phases of that journey. That's why I really love the Phoenix energy as my mascot, because ultimately we're always in some phase of Phoenix. Sometimes it's the macrocosm of the Phoenix, and sometimes it's the microcosm. And sometimes it's a little bit of both in your situation. So just know that, if you're also like Keone and you're starting a journey, I want to say it's easier said than done. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Just do this, just do that. Don't we all love that? No. I don't mean it in that way. I mean, understand that it's natural to have some trepidation. It's natural to not know all the things. It's natural to want to have all your ducks in a row to do it. And you're going to make it through. You're going to learn what you need to learn. There's no right or wrong. It's the journey that counts. It's the experience that counts. That's what the soul is here for. So trust in yourself.
darn it, we ran out of time. I can't get to my fourth question. How do I bring my sexy back? So we'll have to save that for another time.
That'll be a feather pull for another time. Absolutely.
All right. Well, every time I bring my sexy back, I pull something besides a feather, but we'll get into it next time.
Yeah, story for another time. That's the X-rated version of this show.
I was talking about like a hamstring, Stacey. Good Lord.
All right, guys, that is our Feathers of Wisdom for this month. As always, sending you guys so much love. Mr. Neo's coming in to spread a little love. If you like what you see here, please feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube channel for more content like this. Also, join me on Blue Sky. Would love to see you there. And if you are maybe struggling with some of the things, you're on a new journey, I would love to help you out and be of service. I have a lot of really cool Phoenix Journey experience readings that are available, and just click on the link in the description below to book. I would love to be of assistance. Take care, guys. Transform well. Thanks, Keone. This is a segment that is all for my fellow starseeds, light workers, sensitives, healers, empaths. Get into my happy place and channel one of the archangels.